Here's another creative and healthy spin on pizza: zucchini pizza boats with marinara sauce. Zucchini is a wonderful pizza dough substitution because it can serve as one of your daily servings of fruits and vegetables. It contains a nutrient called potassium, which can help control blood pressure. It also is high in manganese, which helps your body to absorb calcium and keep your blood sugar levels balanced. Before you begin, make sure that you have a baking sheet, pot, saucepan, blender, bowl, knife, and measuring cups ready. Then you can preheat the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit and grease the baking sheets with some olive oil so the pizza boats don't stick. Make sure the zucchini is washed and use your knife to cut them into halves the long way. And use a paper towel to pat the insides dry. In your bowl, mix together the olive oil and garlic. Brush the zucchini with the garlic mix and sprinkle the halves with mozzarella cheese and Parmesan. Add an equal amount of chicken to each bowl and bake for 12 to 18 minutes until the chicken is completely cooked. It is important that you wash your hands after handling the ground chicken so that there is no cross-contamination from spreading bacteria that can be present on the raw meat. While the zucchini pizza boats are cooking, you can prepare the marinara sauce. Use your pot to begin stewing the tomatoes on medium heat until they are tender. You should see the skin start to fall off. Then heat oil in a large saucepan on low to medium heat. Add minced garlic and chopped onions, which should cook until the onions become see-through. Add stewed tomatoes, basil, oregano, salt, pepper, white grape juice, lemon juice, and tomato paste to the saucepan and cook for 30 minutes on low heat. Remove the sauce from the heat, allowing to cool, and puree in the blender. Finish the cooked zucchini boats by topping them with oregano, which is a good way to add flavor to a dish without adding extra calories, salt, or fat. It also contains vitamin K, which the body needs to heal from injuries. Finally, you can serve the delicious zucchini pizza boats with your homemade marinara sauce. This should quickly become a crowd favorite.
So first things first, what size zipper pouch do we want to make? This one was inspired by just wanting to keep my pens and my highlighters together in my backpack. So I used my favorite pen as my inspiration. So our next decision that we're going to make is our fabric. Now, as you can see here, this is a woven material. This is some woven denim. And by woven, I mean that it is woven on a grid. There's an X and a Y axis that the fabric is woven together on. A knit, on the other hand, is really stretchy. It's usually what t-shirts are made out of. And I wouldn't recommend it for this project. Remember, stretchy means spicy. When you're learning how to sew, don't do knits yet. For this project, we will also need some type of ruler or straight edge to measure things, some thread. This can be the same color or a contrasting color, some scissors, and a pen or pencil to mark things. You will also need a sewing machine that is threaded up and ready to go, or you can hand sew this project. It will take a little bit longer, but it is absolutely possible to do so. So here we have a centered zipper. This is the most cheap and basic version of a zipper you can get, and it has a non-separating end. So that means that these ends are permanently clasped together. So if you think of jackets that open up at the bottom, those are separating zippers. This is not. The differences between this and like an invisible zipper is just the way that the coils are oriented. So for this project, we are going centered zipper. Just keep it simple. So as you can see, I have these pieces cut out and they are face to face. So this is the right side, this is the wrong side of the fabric. This piece is cut at 5 inches by 8.5 inches. And this is going to be just a tiny bit more shallow than this bag. I cut out 2 small contrasting zipper tabs that we are going to cover. These are optional, and if you do decide you want them, they will be 2 inches by 2 inches, and you will need 2 of them. These we are going to fold in half and finger press, just like this. And they will come back into play in a few minutes. So right now I want to prep my zipper for how long it needs to be for this project. And to do that, I'm gonna cut it. Now these are my cutout pieces for the zipper pouch itself. And all I'm going to do is line them up to the edge and cut it. Since this is a plastic coil zipper, it cuts through pretty easily. So to get started, we are going to prep our zipper and add the tabs that we want on there. This is optional, you don't have to do this. And if you are skipping this, then just skip this step. But if you are using them, you want to grab one tab that is folded in half. We're going to line it up to the edge of the zipper, and we're just going to sew the edge, catching the edge of the zipper tape. Like this. Most of this will be covered up, and it's going to give a cool little contrast. And there we go. We have a zipper with 2 little covers on it. It'll look pretty good. If you want to test it, go ahead and do so. Next, we are going to be making a zipper sandwich. So grab some pins. Also, binder clips work really well for this if you need those. We're going to use one of these pieces of the zipper pouch. And with the zipper laying down, face up, we are going to put the right side of the fabric, which is the printed side, facing the face of the zipper. So it's going to be facing away from you and down towards the table. So remember, the face of the zipper is facing the printed part of the fabric. This is going to be the outside. It seems a little confusing. Once you have these pinned, and remember, pinning perpendicular to where you want to sew is the most effective method because you can pull the pins out as you go. Now I'm going to lift my presser foot so it's all the way up and the needle's up. We are going to place the end of the fabric under. And keep in mind, we're not going to the edge of this tab right here. We're going to the about 1/4 inch of the edge from the fabric and the zipper tape itself. So we're really just butting it up to the zipper. And since I don't have a zipper foot in, it won't get super close, and that's okay. So as you can see, that is the zipper pull. You can't really sew around this thing. It's kind of annoying. It takes up a lot of space. So you just have to adapt to where it is at any given moment when you're sewing a zipper. And right now it's at the beginning. So we're just gonna push it down a little bit like that. You can't really see it. You're mostly doing it by feeling. And we will push this back up right when we get this done in a moment. So go ahead and get started with a couple of stitches. Do your back stitches and we will get to sew. So here's the zipper head. Pull, you're gonna pull that up. So as you can see, I was down here. I'm just lifting the presser foot up to give it space while the needle is in the fabric. And then pulling the pull up, out of the way. And we don't have to worry about that on this side anymore. And continue. Half of our zipper pouch. It looks pretty good. We can always make sure at any point in the process our zipper still works. Woohoo! And if you don't have an iron, you can finger press this, so just push it down. It'll make it look more crisp. Now we're going to do the other half of the zipper sandwich. We're gonna do the exact same thing on the opposite side. So doing the same thing that we just did, we're gonna start at one end and line it up to the edge of this presser foot right here. That's where the edge of the cotton fabric is going to be. Do a couple of stitches to get started, and then sew. Now remember, this is the bottom of the zipper. We don't have to deal with the zipper pull yet. Uh-oh, we have some stretch happening here. So usually you don't want to have this little flop of fabric right here, but that's okay. We're just gonna let it smush out. And remember, we have a zipper pull coming up. So with the needle in the fabric in the down position, lift the presser foot up, pull open the layers, grab the pull, and then just gently pull it back away from the presser foot. And that way you don't have to sew around it because it's very chunky. Finish our seam, do a little back tacks, and that one's finished. So this is what your pouch should look like at this point. It's not really gonna look like a pouch yet, but if you open it up, we can see there's something going on here. And when you add the tabs for the zipper, it looks pretty cool. It's got a good contrast to it. And of course, at every step, gotta make sure our zipper works. If you get the fabric really close, it's okay, but as long as it's not actually in the teeth, you should be fine. It happens though, and if it does, you just take that out and do it again. So we're just finger pressing this down so it's more crisp. And now we're going to fold the zipper sandwich together. Before we do that, we want to make sure to open the zipper because we're about to sew this thing inside out shut. And if we don't leave ourselves a way to get back in, you might have to seam rip, and that's not fun. So pull it open about halfway and just leave it like that is. So remember, open before you close this thing. So now we are going to align our pieces and pin all the way around, because we are about to do 3 sides of this rectangle to finish this. So we are about to sew the 3 sides of this rectangle right here. Now, I don't want to start right here because this is a lot of fabric and it's not going to want to fit under my presser foot. So I'm actually going to start in the middle and go one way, and then flip it over, start in the middle and go around the other way. And I will show you why. So again, make sure to note where your 1/2 inch mark is. This is a little bit more than what we did for the zipper. So for me, it is to a specific line. You can also mark this with a Sharpie. And then do our back tack and sew, pulling out the pins as we go. So when you get to the corner, we want to put our needle into the fabric, so it's all the way down, lift the presser foot, and pivot. So if you pivot too early or too soon, you're not gonna land right on the 1/2 inch mark, and that's okay, because that takes practice. Each stitch is gonna get you in a specific place, like before or after that. So just keep practicing that. Now, we've already turned our corner, and we're just gonna keep sewing. And we're gonna end at the zipper. So I'm gonna take this out, and I'm just gonna hold it with my fingernail and just kind of feel where it is. We're almost there. My machine kind of stopped right here on its own, and I'm going to listen to my machine, and I'm going to stop. Here is our finished zipper pouch with our contrasting zipper tabs on the edges. Remember, you don't have to do this step. If you don't want to deal with it or you don't have fabric for it, simply skip to the zipper sandwiching steps and go straight to those. So you can experiment with adding a lining, trying different sizes or depths or widths of zippers. You can also use different materials like pleather or faux fur if you want to get really funky, and just have fun with it. See what different prints and different combos you can do. You can also turn this into a purse. If you made this a little bit bigger and added some straps to it, you would have your own bag. And there's no need to spend any money on accessories. Thanks for listening, y'all. Have fun. Happy sewing.
Okay, welcome to the GarageBand workshop here. Gonna open up GarageBand, and usually when it opens up, you just want to give it a name. Save it as some new name so you know what to call it. We're gonna save it as, we're gonna call this Drum Jam. We're just going to create a simple drum beat that you could add guitar to later or make it into a full song. First of all, we're going to change the piano to a drum kit, and we'll use the one called Smash. And it's just got some good sounds. So open up, and I'm just going to click the pads and see what is where. Figure out where all the sounds are. And yeah, there's everything in there. Figure out where the kick, snare, and hat, and stick, and all that. First thing we're going to do is change the beats per minute from 120, which is always, standard, to 100, just to kind of make it groove a little slower, a little easier to follow. And it gives you a little count off and a click track. But it's kind of hard to follow, so I'm going to go ahead and record my own click track. It's easier to follow, and it's just super easy to listen to, instead of the little blips that they give you in GarageBand. So I'll just record a measure or so, a couple of measures, and then listen back. But if you double click that region, it opens it up down here. You hit Apple A, and that's like all. and quantize this to 16th notes. So what we just did, our little click track, so it's going to make it perfect. It's going to be perfect 8 notes with a little click in there. Just easier to follow. Has more subdivisions. And then create a new track that's a duplicate track of that one. So it's the same drum kit. Then I'm just going to slide this over to the very beginning. So the click starts at the very beginning. And then click on this track down here. Once again, figure out where all the things are. That's probably what I'm going to do, is kick, snare, hat for now. So I'm going to turn that down just a little bit. Beginning, and then I'm going to record listening to the click track. You don't have to be 100% perfect, but you just need to be kind of close to it. And you can undo and do as many times as you want, so you feel like it's close. So I'll just stop right about somewhere in there. And then double click it, and it will open it up. And do it again. It'll open it up down here in the bottom, and you hit Apple A, which selects all the notes that you just did. Again, down 16th notes, and then it sort of magically lines everything up perfect for you. Sometimes you want that on just a basic rhythm, and sometimes you want it to be live sounding. You want a real, something that sounds real, which we'll do in a minute. So we're going to create another track of percussion. But if you notice here, there's drums, cymbals, things like that, but there's no real percussion. So I'm going to go to a different thing on here, percussion. And then we're going to use Latin percussion. Now we're going to check out the pads. Now we got some bongos, timbales, and things. We're just going to create a bongo track to go with that. And this pad could easily be a keyboard. Just a USB keyboard would do the same thing. You just have to figure out where the sounds are. So you double click it and goes down in there. And then you hit Apple A. It selects all the notes. Then you hit quantize to 16th notes. It's always 16th notes is always a good place to start. And that lined everything up perfect. So that turned out pretty good. So we're going to create another track, duplicate settings on percussion as well. But this time we're going to do timbales, and we're going to do these live because we're going to play them kind of fast. We're going to have too much going on for it to quantize, and we wanted to make it sound more of like a live recording. So if I tried to quantize this track, it would be too square sounding, and it wouldn't have the little fast notes in there. So if we go back and listen to it, it just sounds more like a live percussionist a little bit more. So yeah, this could have been used as a YouTube video, or it could be a backing track for a song. And of course, you can always plug a microphone into GarageBand and record guitar or vocals or anything you want. And that's just the very basics of GarageBand.
Hey guys, it's Jessie here for your book chat. So, we're back in school, right? Kind of, yeah, in a weird way. Yeah, we're back in school. It may be virtual, but it's still school. So I thought I would do a few books that are great for returning to school, even if it's just virtual. So the first one is American Street. This one is so good. I really didn't want to read it because it's got all these sad parts, and I'm just like, oh, sad. I'm not really in the mood for that. Then you start reading it and you can't put it down. And it's so good. And the ending is happy-ish. Like, you're crying and you're sad because all this stuff's happened and it's such a bummer, more than a bummer actually. But then it has a really uplifting note at the end and you're like, yay, that's so wonderful. So definitely check that one out because she moves from Haiti to the United States to start a new school. Stressful, right? And she moves in with her cousins and her aunt, and her mom is held by customs. Extra stressful. Such a bummer. But she navigates a new school, she navigates boys, her cousins, all kinds of really difficult things. And I really liked that even though she feels completely powerless, she has power and she finds that power and her voice, and she's able to use her voice to help herself and her family. So you feel good about it and you feel like you've got a little bit of power. If you started the book feeling powerless, it kind of empowers you a little bit, even though you feel really sad at the same time, but also really happy. All the emotions in this book. Definitely check this one out. That one's American Street. Then, The Field Guide to the North American Teenager. So freaking funny, you guys. This is another immigrant book. It's this boy, he's a Black French Canadian, and he moves to Austin, Texas. Culture shock, right? So he moves to Austin and he starts his notebook where he's just kind of like making snarky comments about all of his classmates, and it's not really a burn book like for Mean Girls as much as just an anthropological experience for him. It's really very funny, and then of course it blows up and it's got like love going on and all these different things. It's really just a fun laugh out loud moment. Really worth reading. Then The Backstagers. Now this is so fun because it's a graphic novel, so you can get through it real fast. It's part of a series, and it's about this boy who starts at a private school and he's trying to find his group. And he's just really not having a lot of luck until he ends up with the stage crew for the drama club. So you know drama club means there's gonna be drama. And then you add the backstage people from drama club. This is just a really fun, very fast read that you can read when you're feeling bummed about being virtual in school. And the final read is more of a comfort read. If you haven't read this, where have you been? So the final book that I'm recommending is Fangirl. Now, it's a little bit older and she's starting college, not high school. But this is such a good book. I think I've read it 4 or 5 times. It's just one of those really fast comfort reads. She starts college and it's so awkward. Poor Cather, her twin Rin abandons her, or in her mind abandons her. She just gets a different roommate than her sister. And she's got to navigate college kind of by herself. And if you ever feel like, I don't even know what I'm doing with my life, and I don't want to leave my room, and I just want to eat energy bars because I don't know where the cafeteria is, this is a great read. It makes you laugh, it makes you feel good. It's got one of my favorite romances. Yeah, one of my favorite romances, just in general. There's nothing else to go with that. I love the love story in this one. And it has all the school mess and roommates. And if you're about to start college, this is a really fun one to read. A reminder that it could be worse and it could be better, and it just could be, it could be, it could be. So definitely check out Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. All right, you guys, I'll see you soon. Bye.